So our objective list right now is going to be number 1, get batteries. Number 2, get advanced circuits online. That should probably be our number 1. Number 3, redo this area to get the heavy to light to petroleum. And then make enough production facilities to use up all of the petroleum that we're making. Because right now we're actually backed up on, we're not using up any more oil at this point because our petroleum is full. I guess we'll add a couple storage tanks. And then later on, once we reach the equilibrium here, we can take them away or leave them there. It doesn't really matter. Thing 2 is fine. Alright. So we have our engines being made, and we're doing fine here. Everything is now working properly as intended. Maybe? Alright, well that's why we check these things. Okay, that's all good. You know, I could fix this. Doesn't need to connect here, it could actually go down here, but it works now, so why mess with it? Looks like we are back to having nope, not enough copper coming out. And our supply of copper is pretty good. So we might just want to make another mining facility. Or they're so yellow belts, right? We're gonna switch these to red belts, and then I'm just gonna add a couple furnaces to the mix. Then hopefully that should cover some of what our issues are here. Fortunately, we have just the right amount of room for it. It's pretty nifty. Okay, concrete is done. We might want to consider getting that. What else do we need? Logistics would be good. Weapon stuff is nice, but not really needed at this point. Guess we'll do logistics. Okay. I think we might actually be able to get away with making a little bit more. Or adding a couple more, I mean to say. What is wrong here? That's odd. I thought it was going the right way, right? I don't know why that was happening. Okay. So our main issue here is that with not enough copper, we're not going to be able to make advanced circuits in the volume that we'd like. So I think adding just the 2 here wasn't good enough. I think we should actually add another one. And I think we'll be okay in doing that. Right. So, We're just gonna do something very similar. We'll split this off. Let's see. I could actually try and split this off earlier. Let me try to think here. I don't think that would be good. For example, if I kept this half and half belt, put it over here, and then split it off and put it into another smelting area, I don't think that would be as good as putting another full line of copper and another full line of coal. Because it wouldn't be able to saturate as well, I think. It also looks like this is the limit here. These last two aren't really getting as much as we'd like. Again, we have enough walls for a long time, I think. So I'm just gonna have more of these out here. Let's make more chests. These will come in handy later on when we need more, when we can use robots. Having the storage here will be very helpful. Likewise, we have a store of stone somewhere, and that's probably very full. Let's get that added too. There we go. Okay. So taking a look at the smelting here, it does look like we're at a limitation here in terms of the yellow belt supplying this red belt area. If we want to fix this, we would have to change all these belts into red, and I can do that, but we don't exactly have enough red belts to do that right now, I think. We do have a store of red belts, but I think we'd be better off just making another smelting area. That way we can have an expansion later. What do we want to make now? Let's do this one. Yep. So let's get that started. We'll make some steel furnaces now. We'll make 10 on one area. We need 10 steel furnaces. We have 9 currently making. Let's grab some stone bricks. That's our 10th. And then we have the inserters, we have the belts. We have splitters, underground belts. Okay, looks like we have everything. So now the question is, how are we going to supply this new smelting area that I am planning on making? And where am I going to put it? I could put the new smelting area right here. There is a perfect amount of room for it somehow. That's actually surprising. So I could put it right here. And kind of want to put it right there. But I would also probably rather have it up here, just so it's a little bit easier to separate what I'm looking at. And if I want to put anything in between later, I can. It's okay to have space. We're planning on having a lot of space. We're going to be putting railroads all over the place soon, probably. I hope. And it's nice to have the walking room. Why not? It's not as efficient, technically, but nothing wrong with that. It's my time. So that was not too bad to set up. We have 5 across. And now we just put in our inserters. Let's make sure they're the right way. I think we need to make some more electricity poles. I should be probably making those right now. What do I need for that? I need copper and wood. We have the wood. There we go. Okay, that's all good. We will take the rest of this blueprint away. And let's apply it. So how we're going to do that, I could split it right here. I could have 2 belts here. I could take this one away, put this one up top, and then leave this one over here. Might be better. Let's make a fast splitter. What else do I need for this? I need more iron. I'm gonna make a couple fast splitters. That way we can make sure we're working at the fastest capacity we can at the moment. So I'm going to do that. We'll replace this guy. I should really put these red belts over here as well. So, I think what I've decided is to just split it off right here. If we're really using it at such a fast pace, it will fill in at that pace. So, either way, we'll be fine. I'll just make sure I'm trying to use red belts now until I run out, and then I'll switch back to the yellow belts. So much for that. All right, and then from here we can grab our coal. I'm gonna interrupt this a little bit so I can make it a little bit easier to use an underground belt. So split, just kidding, split, move up, underground belt, and combine. Definitely not the cleanest thing, but it works. So I'm okay with it. Let's check on our electricity. We're doing fine. And now we have another line of copper that we can add down here. We're going to add it alongside, and then we'll melt it down later. This way we have our so-called bus system. Although it's pretty meager in the current state. I think that'll be fine. It's not the best way to do this for sure, but it'll work for our purposes right now. I'm looking at this. This is not being saturated. whereas this one is. So I can definitely add a couple more to this. And we might want to grab the red belts just to make this a little bit faster up until the splitter. So what I think I'm going to do is take this guy away so that they're not being used anyways. And then we'll just have it like this. Let's make sure we're facing the right way. Make sure they have their energy. Let's make our gates. And I think we're decently off to the races here. Let's go grab some red belts so we can fix that up a little bit. Our belts are up here. We are starting to get a store of them, so that's pretty good. Gonna make a couple undergrounds. Need more iron for this though. And I'm gonna replace a lot of these belts with red. And hopefully that will help out with our problems here of saturating this belt. And so far it looks like it's doing the job. We're gonna change this underground belt once that's made. And I think we'll be good here. As well change these while we're at it. Fix a future problem before it starts. And there we go. So we'll have to keep an eye on this to see if it does as well as I'm hoping it will. But it's not looking too bad. I'm going to change this into a fast splitter though. Alright. So we spent enough time on that. Let's go and do some battery stuff, I think. Let's see. We're very full on petroleum. Mainly because we're not making any plastic anymore. Okay, hopefully that will help us out a little bit there. Let's make some more blue science in our inventory. So for that we need some engines. Let's go check on our engines. Not too bad, not too shabby. We're looking at our interesting. So now we've made too much green science, as you can see. So I'm going to get rid of some of these. That'll be good. I think that's the original, what we had it originally. which means that it's not enough, but we'll fix it when it comes back. When that problem comes back, it's fine. Okay, so we put it off long enough. Let's completely disregard what I've been saying about the batteries, and let's do advanced circuits. Because I think that is something we need to start getting down. So first off, we want to make sure we have enough assembly machines. 21 is decent enough for now. We have inserters, we have electric poles, we have belts. So, how do we want to do this? Advanced circuits need 2 plastic bars, 4 copper cables, and 2 electronic circuits. We determined that 1 copper cable making station will supply enough copper cables for 6 advanced circuits. But that's not including the overfill for the buffer for the next round. So I think we'll call that 3 instead. And that way it will always be, or we can make it 4 even. And that way they'll always be running rather than having to wait sometimes. We have our plastic bars and we have our circuits. So let's do it. We're going to bring these circuits down the line. And that's not what I want. I'm going to just randomly put down assembly machines until we figure out how this works. So, if I do it like this, I want this to be advanced circuits. So then I would put my inserter here, I grab advanced circuits here. I want plastic bars and copper cables. We have our copper plates there. And we can bring our plastic up from the bottom here. In true spaghetti fashion. it's gonna be fine. We're gonna continue the iron line this way and bring this guy up. I think what we want to do is, or if we want to make it cleaner, we should bring the plastic through this line right here. But that's okay. We have determined that we're gonna just have some spaghetti in our factory. It is quite alright with me. Actually, see if we can curb that a little bit by doing this. Alright. And we'll change this into a regular inserter. So most of them go through, but I'm still storing some. Let's get our tool belt. And let's break off these guys. Really have nowhere to put them right now, but hey. Okay, so we have that. And plastic bars and electronic circuits are an equal supply. So technically I could do a half-half here. So, how would I accomplish that? Problem is that they're going in opposite directions currently. My circuits are going down, whereas the plastic is going up. So I need to figure out how I want to combine the two to make it feasible. And what I'm thinking right now is, I guess we would bring the plastic bars up and down. That is currently my position on this. Okay, so let's do that. If that's the case, I want to split this off a little bit earlier. Put down underground belt for stuff. And then here, we could just combine the two. And there we go. Now we have a split belt of plastic and electronic circuits. Now all I need to do is get some copper cables here, and we'll be good to go. So for that, we're going to grab this copper line and extend it. And we'll split it off again and bring it up. And I have to remember that I need to make them into copper cables, so I need to actually bring it up earlier. Let's set that up now so I know where to put them. So we have determined that a copper cable, 2 copper cables are made in 0.5 seconds. 4 copper cables, which is needed for 1 circuit, is made in 1 second. But for the buffer, we're going to say 2 seconds. So that means that 1 copper cable can supply 3 advanced circuits, for sure. So if I were to do that, then I would want to have 6 of these down one line, and I'll have 2 copper cable setups here. I think that will be acceptable. So, there. I think this is decent. We'll have to see if this works or not. But as of right now, I am optimistic that this will work. And we'll just have to do the same thing on the other side. So let's grab these. Put our splitter down. And let's power up everything. Looks like we'll have to go with the normal power poles here. So we have input all good to go. The problem is now we don't know where to put output. So what I think I'm going to do is have a mess of underground belts here, so I can output on the same line that I'm inputting. So let's get that started, shall we? Here. Here. There we go. And now we can input on the same line. Hey Psycho, how's it going? We're back on Factorio. We're on a train world with no trains. Because we got really lucky on our resources. So we're gonna put a train from here to over here later on. We're just getting our advanced circuits all set up. I've reached this point a lot quicker than I did on the last map. So I think what I can do is I can do this. And because they're different colors, they don't interrupt each other. Let me see if I can go find... Or I need to make more underground belts, so I need some iron. Yeah, if you want to take a look at our base so far, we have a very similar setup for oil. We have iron. It's our smelting area. This is military things and engines. And science. And that's basically it. These are still making. But so far what it looks like is this is gonna work just fine. This weird setup here. I think I'll be able to do this on both sides here. I probably want to swap these two. I probably want to make the yellow belts our output and the red belts our input. That will probably be better. We're still waiting on this though. Okay, let's take a look at our science. Looks like we have too much green and not enough red. Let's make sure that everything is making. Yeah, it's just we have too much green production, it looks like. It's strange because I was keeping up with this before on red, but now it looks like it's no good. I might want to upgrade these into level 2 assembly machines. Boy, this is taking a while. A lot of stuff there. Okay, so we're gonna convert these. We're gonna swap these two. We're gonna make yellow into red. And let's not get confused here. We want this to be yellow. You know what, let's just redo the whole thing, because this is not gonna work. They're connecting each other already, accidentally. So, I want this to be here. This to be here, and like that. And for yellow, I want that. There we go. Can actually make this red. Get a little speed boost here when we can. Right. So the idea here is that now everything will be input onto this line and also output. And it'll be amazing. So we should copy this on the other side. And do basically the same thing. Right. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Definitely not in line. Let's fix that. Okay. And then we'll need to bring a copper line down here, and everything will be hunky-dory. And we'll have our red circuits automated. Oops. Right now this is the end of the line for the copper, so I'm just gonna do this. And there we go. So this goes to plan. All of these should always be saturated. And we should have a constant output of red science, which I am now going to put into a chest because that's how I do things. So I'm just taking a look. I'm going to look at each of these, make sure they are outputting correctly. Are you outputting correctly? You're not outputting at all. Let's see. Let's fix that, shall we? There we go. There we go. Okay. Just making sure that all of them are working, and they are. So I think we're good here. So we have our red science. Let's go put blue science into our labs that we've been making. Not leaving much room for expansion. Yeah. Oh well. If it's gonna be spaghetti, it's gonna be spaghetti. Let's see, what do I want to use my blue science for? Right now I have a limited amount. There doesn't seem to be anything I absolutely need at this moment. I'm gonna just continue with doing this stuff here. Yeah, I'm gonna take away some of the labs because this was working before. Or this This output was good enough for this input before, but I don't know what happened. I'm just going to take away a couple of the labs. In the end, it doesn't actually change anything, because it's still the same amount of labs that are going to be working, but we'll just leave it like that for now. Let's actually upgrade these guys. So we need some steel and some iron. Looks like our production is slowed as well. We're doing on electricity. Doing okay. So we're gonna try to help our red output by changing them into blue assembly machines, and hopefully that will make them work a little bit faster, and we can meet them, the green that I had. And we'll go check on that later. So, what else do we need? Start on this. So I think it's time to redo our oil area, because now we have the advanced oil cracking. You can get that ready. So I'm going to need more oil refineries and probably more chemical plants. For that I need more iron. Just going to grab a whole lot of it. Looks like this isn't enough for this anymore. But we're still getting a good output for copper, so that's fine. And iron is still doing alright. I'm going to take this away and see if that changes anything, because we need more steel output. What was I doing? We wanted to make some oil refineries and some chemical plants. Let's make a couple of those. So I've learned that the new ratio is actually 10:17, I've been told. It's no longer 8:17. But I don't think I have the oil output here for that many. We're actually using up all of what we have right now. I think instead of fixing this for cracking, we're gonna just get our batteries up and running, because we haven't started that yet. And then after that we can figure out what we want to do further for the cracking. So for batteries and sulfur, we need to get some water down here. So let's go do that. The closest water source is by our electricity. I'm just going to route it down this way on the right side of our base. Kind of out of the way. We're going to need one pump. I'm just looking. Probably the best way, or the quickest way, would be to bring it to the left and down. Or I could just bring it down this way and to the left. What else am I going to need water for? I need it for concrete. I believe. I thought I researched it. Oh, here it is. We need iron ore and stone bricks, which are over here already. So I think the best thing to do is just to bring the water down this way. That way, whenever I decide to start making concrete, I can. We'll have the two ingredients right there. So, not the most elegant solution, but it'll work. Where is our pump? It's right here. I was hoping for a right-sided one. Technically, we could probably just get the water from this boiler, which is at 194 for some reason. Shouldn't it be at 200? Well, I could attach it to the boiler because, as far as I know, water is basically infinite. So the output would stay the same regardless of if I did this separately or took it from the boiler. But I'm gonna make them just separately, just to make it a little bit easier on me to parse. Alright. So we're just gonna bring this straight down, pretty much. Not really worried about being attacked by biters anymore. So having just pipes out in the middle of nowhere isn't really a problem. So I'm gonna do this instead, bring it a little out. Hopefully we're far enough that we don't hit our mining area. And we should be good to go. Oh, trees. Oops. Okay, good so far. And I think I can actually turn it here, so let's do that. One off, huh? Okay, so we're just continuing to bring it down to our plastic area. Get rid of these nasty trees in the way. And we're here. Cool. So half of this we're going to want to bring to our oil refineries so we can do the advanced oil cracking, oil processing stuff when we want to. I'm not going to do that right now, but we want to get that settled for now. Does look like we're out of most things that we want to research without blue science. I should be making more of that right now. I could actually set up a small area of assembly machines making blue science. I'll just insert these guys. Looks like we've run into our issue here, which is our circuit production is not good enough. But that's why we've been stocking them up. We can add to this later and we got this figured out a little bit better. So for right now, I'm just gonna put a small mass of assembly machines here, and they're gonna be making blue signs for me while I work on getting this automated. Need engines. And that's good enough. Okay, so once again, what we're trying to do here is we're gonna want to get some batteries made. So we're gonna want to get some chemical facilities set up, chemical plants. I'm gonna make them over here, as most likely anything that we want to do with them, we'll have to send them upward, and having them over here will just mean more belts. So again, fluid-wise, probably not a good idea just to extend this guy out here. But I'm gonna do it, because we're learning, I guess. We'll see if that's not gonna work or not. First thing we're gonna do is bring our water down here. And prep this for later on, when we decide to get this started. Alright, so now if I want to get water here, I just have to connect these guys. And then bring this up. So sulfur by itself, I really don't know what else I would use it for other than just sulfuric acid. So I can put this near the tanks of petroleum here. So what I'm thinking right now is we have a decent amount of petroleum, and we're gonna be increasing that amount once we get our advanced oil cracking. So we might want to expand on our plastics later on. So I might want to consider that while I'm building this sulfur machine area. So I'll probably put this like this. I'm gonna say 2 is good enough for now. If not, we can always bring it up or down more later. So sulfur. Oops. There we go. And now we just need to add our water. Works for me. We'll get some electricity to it, and we should have sulfur. Okay. We're going to output it. Ran out of fast inserters. Let's see if we can make some of those. We should be making things. Keep forgetting. Right, there we go. Then these will be put into... Put it into a chest for now. Then that chest will feed into our sulfuric acid production. The chest is going to be used as a buffer, so if I have any excess sulfur later on, I can just leave it in here. Might want to limit it, but I'm just going to leave it as is for now. So, for sulfuric acid, let's see what we need for that. We need iron plates, sulfur, and water. We have our water here. So our problem here is going to be the iron. We need to get iron down here. So how are we going to do that? We're already pretty low on our iron stores, unfortunately. In terms of getting this throughput line around. So we're gonna have to consider that, or while we're doing this stuff. Get our laser turrets going. I don't really plan on using them, but it'd be nice to have the option. So I'm going to add another one of these here. And I will continue with this. I think the problem is that I shouldn't have added the extra 2 here, because that's not going to be good enough anymore now that I'm taking half of it away. We'll see. We'll find out. Technically, we're doing all right on steel. It's not backed up, but we are using it, so it's not going to waste or anything. Anything extra is being put into this chest, and we do have a healthy amount in the chest already. Okay. And we're outputting circuits at a decent rate. Definitely not anything amazing, but not terrible. At the moment, at least. Let's get these guys out, so we can put them in our blue science chest, our blue science making area. And we'll start making some more solar panels, just so we have something to do with the things that we're making. Okay, cool. Looks like we're doing pretty well on getting this blue stuff set up. We have a decent amount, and that will tide us over for now until we get that automated. So, let's see what we can do with this. We need to get some iron down here, which is why I was looking at the iron before. And we do have this line that's here. Bring that down and we'll cut it off. We already do have this iron line split off here, so we might want to just consider continuing that line down. Because I don't think this uses that much iron, maybe. It uses 1 iron per second. Alright. Well. We'll just bring it down for now. We're going to do something similar that we did for our plastics, where we put these two together and use underground belts to get the output done properly. Well, now that I think about it, the output is actually a liquid. Trying to think of how I should be doing this. Sulfur is definitely going to be our main thing here. Am I not making any? I don't have any water. I don't have any water. Okay, so where do we want to put this machine here? I think I'm just going to do 2 like this. I do want to keep a little bit of room for when we start cracking this stuff. So I think I want to actually bring this up a little bit. And that will help with our iron too, because we don't want this too long, because otherwise we'll just have a lot of dead product on the line, you know? We might actually want to bring the sulfur line up instead. That'd be a little bit smarter. So let's try doing that instead. Okay, so now we have iron and sulfur. I don't mind it going slow, so I'm going to put them on the same belt, even though it's not technically the optimal method here. We are going to need water as well to get down into this. So that's what I'm going to leave some space for. We'll do this, that, and then we'll have our output. So we're going to expand on this, bring the water up. Need to connect these two now. And I think we're good to go. I think we got everything that we need. We just need to output it. So what are we going to be using sulfuric acid for? We're going to be using it for batteries, I believe. Batteries. And we're going to be using it for... that's about it. We're going to be using it for uranium, but that's not something I'm going to be worrying about right now. So, for simple batteries, I think it's a good idea to have it closer to the belt line over here. So I think we're just gonna leave this like this. I'm gonna separate them because I feel a little bit iffy about putting the two together in terms of the dynamics of the fluid. We get some storage containers. We need to make that, so let me plop this down real quick. Let me go grab some steel. Okay, so we have 2 storage containers, and we're gonna put that like so. And when I say like so, I mean like so. And we'll connect the 2 here. I guess in the end it's the same thing. Whatever. Need to go find a... Need to go make a pump for this. Need an engine and steel. Engines are here. Steel is still over here. We'll make 5 pumps while we're at it, just in case we need it in the future. There we go. Cool. Right. Looks like we're good here.